first thing I was gonna start with, everybody does desktop version, right? So, and every once in a while I'll pull it up on my phone, the desktop version. But one of the first things that I like to do on my matrix is to edit the home screen. So, in case you don't know, you can edit all these home screen things around, so you can move things around to where you want them. So you can just kind of pluck them like that. You can get rid of some of this nonsense stuff. Like these are all the things that I kind of blocked out that I'm not really interested in. I like to spy on my buyers and see how often they're looking at their portals. I like to spy and see if they're marking as a favorite, so I definitely want that kind of front and center. I like to check my own listings and make sure, if anything's expiring soon or if I have violations, or just kind of keep track of my, pending sales and listings. So I like to have that kind of front and center. I don't necessarily use these so much, like the hot sheets and the market watch, but you could. Those are easy things to toggle. I don't use this quick search function, but I left it on the home screen. But basically a bunch of widgets. You can pick which ones you like. You can move them around how you like them. But there's some pretty good stuff here. I definitely like this one, this additional resources. A lot of times I'll use this to get to like transaction desk or showing time, or some other things. So anybody else use their home screen differently or found tricks in like editing or anything like that?
I'll just use the market watch hot sheets a bunch just to kind of gauge and see what's happening.
Yes, market watch one's cool because you can see like, and you set these parameters, right?
Yeah.
So I have this as a 7-day, but you might look at just today. How many new listings happened today? Let's see, I might have to hit refresh. Is that right? 174 new listings on
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
So people listen to masses on Wednesdays. All right, good for those people. That's great. 63 went under contract. So yeah, that's kind of a cool little thing. You can easily just get a vibe. And if you're checking this every single day, Kevin, you probably check it all the time, right?
Fairly regularly.
So now in your mind, you already know like a normal range. And so if something goes berserk, you're like, oh, holy cow, like, I haven't seen it, I haven't seen that bar graph that big compared to the other ones. So yeah, very easy. It's right there on your home screen. All right, thought we might start with something super basic, maybe, that I always am teaching brand new agents, but that's just simply searching for a house. So a lot of times you'll have a buyer say, hey, I saw this house, and you go and type it in MLS and you're like, it doesn't exist, I can't find it. So I'll give you 2 examples and we'll see how good you guys are at finding this stuff. All right, first one, 609 Canoe Run Place. How do I find it on MLS? What are you guys doing to find 609 Canoe Run Place?
Just the street name on a quick search?
So you're going right here?
No.
Search.
Yeah, quick search.
You do this?
Yep, I do that.
All right, so what do
I'm
you
with
do?
that route.
Oh man, you're hitting the tab button and all sorts of stuff. You just doing 609?
Yeah.
Just 609. There's only 732 options. So then we can hit, you can sort by status. Now we got some actives, but there's still a whole lot of actives. So you can kind of sort through there. How do you search? Yeah.
I'll go into the search button up top and I'll put in 609 the address and then Canoe and then search and then hit active and then search from there. Well, I actually hit coming soon, active, and then pending to see.
Ooh, okay, so you got some clicks going, right? And then you go street number.
Yep.
609.
Yep.
You doing Canoe or Canoe Run?
Just Canoe.
Just Canoe.
Sometimes
Why?
I just do CA.
Okay. Why?
Ooh. Because you don't like hitting tabs, so shorter the better.
Yeah, me learn not many words need it much.
Words good. That's confusing.
Alright, so here's what I find most folks do. A buyer says, hey, I like 609 Canoe Run Place. And so they type in 609 9 Canoe Run
Oh,
Place.
no, don't do it.
Ugh. It kind of works. I don't know why, but it works. But then you're looking at it and you're like, great, they gave me some house that doesn't exist. It's been released. That's an
Expired.
old one. If it has letters in it, that's a real old listing. Sorry, Mr. Buyer, the house doesn't exist. And most of the times, the reason or the trick you need to know is you just never do place, road, court, lane, avenue. You gotta get rid of that stuff. So certainly don't put place in there, and then you'll get, well, I got different options. Now I got 7 options. And then from there, I can see that it's, this is probably the one they're talking about because it's active. You can also, to your point, just do canoe. Same results. So sometimes that second word thing messes some stuff up. Sometimes people might try to like put words together, and you can't find it that way. So sometimes you have to like space it out, or like you're saying, you could just do fewer words. Ooh, it doesn't work with fewer. So you just gotta get a whole word. The other little trick you guys may know, if you're looking for an active listing, you know for sure that it's active, you could do active, ACT, and then 609. You could just do active 609. Oh, nothing. Active 609 canoe. Got it. Active 609 canoe run. Got it. So, little trick there is when you're searching for an address, typically the best trick or the best thing you should know is never put the place, the court, the avenue, all those.
Road.
What would you call those? Not
Suffix.
Suffix?
Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of that suffix. And then the other trick, you might cut the second word out of the address altogether. So here's a really fun one for you trick. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got one more. I have a client that's on North Beach, and if you put the N in there or North, it won't show up. So.
Somebody told me they have something on North Beach. I'm typing in North Beach.
And beach is spelled with 2 E's instead of E.
Oh my gosh! Right.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
like, those are the things, like,
That's why you just do BE.
right. So,
Oh my.
you know, you can, yeah. So you have to do 10 beach, 10 beach instead of 10 North Beach.
Am I spelling beach right now?
No, no E at the end. Spelling is hard.
Did I find it yet?
No.
Oh gosh, 1600. Coming soon. No.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But
So
the
here,
point, like,
here's.
even the direction can be a problem too.
Yeah. So that was gonna be my next example. This is for our Church Hill runners. 1320 1/2 North 27th Street. How you searching for that bad boy?
Yeah.
1320 1/2 North 27th Street.
I'd go to the search function, put in 1320
1320? Yeah.
active.
Yeah. So that might be a good quick one, active. Sometimes though, you know, kind of to your point, like you don't know, are we looking for something under contract coming soon? All they gave you is an address. You said 1320?
Yeah, I would just go what you got right there and see what happens.
Boom.
You found it, so yeah, you got it there. The way I do, I'm typically just using this first bar because it's the quickest. It's right there. It's one click away, and I would do 1320, and then don't do the 27th. Just do the number 1320 27, and that pops it. So there's other ways when you actually use the search function. I just noticed this actually while preparing street direction. Apparently that's where you could put it. Like if you're, you know, we're looking for West Grace Street, North 27th Street, you gotta put it there. But the little takeaway is sometimes less is a lot more, so get rid of some of that extra like fluff.
Yeah, it depends on how it was entered, because somebody might not know that there was a direction field, and they type in north.
Yeah, that's why those canoe run places must have hit, because yeah, I shouldn't have gotten a hit with canoe run place. I should have just gotten a hit with canoe run. So these are old listings, so that might factor in too, so they like wrote the word place out.
Yeah.
So I bet in their input field, street name, they did street name Canoe Run Place
Yeah.
as a street name, and then did nothing in the suffix field. So, alright, cool, so that's easy there, that's a little, searching quickly. Alright, in the search field, let's see, I wrote a note here about plus or minus in search terms, so hopefully everybody knows this, but if you're looking for a price, you might do something that's more than 300 would be that, less than 300. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Or you have to do minus, yeah. Less than 300. You do that. If you want a range, you put it like that. Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You can uncheck this box and get rid of the hundreds of thousands or whatever it is. I would use that if I was maybe looking for a lease, because then you're looking for specifically 1,500, and you uncheck that if you're ever looking for like a rental thing. But on most of our stuff, we're doing that. Anybody know how a bathroom is described as total baths? What's one half look like?
1.1.
Yeah, wow.
Sometimes
I don't know.
we have that.
So if you wanted to look for only something with exactly 1.5, that's your favorite. You love a good half bath. If you do exactly 1.1, that should be, homes that have 1.5 baths. If somebody's okay with, most everybody I hear wants at least 2 full bathrooms, but every once in a while you might have somebody say, well, I need at least 1.5. So then you wouldn't want, but they don't want to consider a 1 bathroom home, so then you do 1.1 plus. So then that would get you everything with at least that half bath in the old, smaller primaries. So that's that one. My other little trick, just kind of while we're almost in the same bar, is, and this goes to Dean's point, there's this little checkbox for primary bedroom, first floor. I don't like this. And the reason why I don't like it is this makes you dependent on the intelligence of the listing agent and how they put the thing into the input data. And I bet dollars to donuts, you will miss out on a whole lot of primary bedrooms or bedrooms that have that ability on the first floor if this is the only thing you're doing. So I don't do it this way. I do a different method, which is I add a field in, and this is a whole other topic of adding fields in. So everybody knows this top part is your default fields. But hopefully this is something new, or at least maybe you haven't messed around with it. You can always add more fields in. So you hit here and you add additional fields. One of the fields I add in is a full bathroom on level 1. It's probably not all that uncommon for a realtor to get it wrong and not checking in the drop-down menu box wherever that input field is for a first floor primary. But very rarely does an agent ever get wrong how many bathrooms are on which floor. So that's where I'm kind of putting my eggs in the basket, that at a bare minimum, an agent is smart enough to realize there's at least a full bathroom on the first floor and they've marked it correctly. I'm trying to remember too, maybe somebody can chime in. When you're putting an MLS, when you're putting a listing in, are you required? Yeah, you're required to fill that bathroom field out.
Zeros and ones,
So
yeah,
you
right.
have to have zeros and ones, and so that, again, kind of further validates my case of they probably didn't get this wrong. There's no force requirement on that drop-down input menu of first floor bedroom with a bathroom, and so I do at least 1 full bathroom here, and so then I at least know there's a full bathroom on the first floor, and so depending what my folks are looking for, some people don't have to have their primary bedroom on the first floor, but they're thinking maybe for guests or for a mother or a family member or whatnot, and so I just want to try to catch all of those houses, especially in the market right now. The inventory is so low. I don't want to miss any possible thing that could work out there. So that's a good one that I like to use. Sometimes I might couple that with, if they really do want single level living, I'll do, you know, one level. But if I do exactly one level, what does that then eliminate for my search?
A lot.
Yeah, some agent might consider like a RCI Olivia, they might have this written down as like a 1.5 level.
1.75 or something.
Yeah, and so you might miss out on some of those. But
Would you put 1.5 minus?
you did, yeah. Yeah, I haven't dug into too much like the levels and what those numerical values look like. I would think it's a 1.5.
Minus,
You were
or-
saying
I've seen
1.75.
1.75 Cape Cods.
Really?
Before too.
So-
Okay, wow.
They just have like the one room finished above the
Yeah.
garage or something like that.
Yeah, but I
Less than 2.
I have been comfortable enough to like just literally single level, with no confusion of anything upstairs. For most of my clients who, like that's, like if they're looking that specific, then yeah, we don't want any stairs. You can play around with that some too. So what you might even do is just experiment, right? Like if you have a specific search set up for your client, check this box, see what the results are, and then do it my way, see what the results are.
Great
and then
idea.
what you might do too, what I do a lot of times is I might have a search set up one specific way, but when I'm doing my daily like lead follow up or you know, really trying to bang the drum and see what I can pull up, I'll manipulate their search terms so I can look like an all-star too and say, hey, this one's not in your search, but what do you think about this one? Gives me a great little excuse to follow up with them, great little excuse to kind of bait them out, and also, you know, just try to find a house for them. And so you might set up an auto search using one method, but then just as you're doing your prospecting and your follow up, tweak it a little bit just to make sure you're not losing anything between the cracks. So let's see, some other stuff that I use. I might include or exclude a style of home. Everybody know how to exclude a style of home? Let's say you hate split floors, or they tell you, hey, I grew up in a split floor, those stink, I do not want one. So then you might specifically, you know, find split foyer, and then it's selected, just my computer doesn't look like it, and then you hit not.
Not.
So at least then you're eliminating all split foyers, or you might have somebody that says, hey, I only want a ranch style home, and so you might do ranch, and then you just do that. You might have somebody that says, I only want a custom ranch. I've never used this ever, so I guess that would be the and. So custom and ranch. Usually we're doing or by default it's or. And so that might be where you include a couple different styles, but again, maybe the same thing as what we're talking about with the primary bedroom. If you have those clients looking for a rancher, you may just dabble around with the style of home. I'm probably using more style of home to eliminate and do the not. Like somebody's told me they don't like tri-levels, they don't like split foyers, they, you know, let's see what else. Yeah, probably not. But almost all these fields, I bring that up to say there's either or, which is multiple potential options, and it just has to hit one of those, or specifically not. So that's that. I'll show you a couple of my additional fields and see, just have you guys know that they're out there and see what you think, and I'll teach you at least one trick. So my fields, I got a lot of them, and I could probably remove some of these. Some of these I use for like one specific time ever, and it just has stayed there. But to add the fields, you hit add or remove, and then this is every possible data input entry thing a listing agent could ever select in their listing. And so all those fields, those 7 or 8 tabs we have when we put listings in, it's all right here, and then you just select it and then hit add, and you can move them around if you want, or you can also remove them later. So that's how you add or remove a field. Some of the fields I like, I guess remarks is the first thing I ever added in. I'll go over a couple of these remarks. Fence, this could mess you up a little bit, but sometimes you have people say, I only want a house with a fence. I don't even want to consider building a fence. So, you might have fenced in there, or sometimes I'm looking up a specific owner name. Occupied by, this is sometimes good if you're looking for like a vacant home, something that might be able to be moved in immediately, or maybe you're just trying to like show a bunch of houses and that's the easiest to schedule would be vacant. Agent only comments, you can search there, agent only comments. Pool, so people only want a pool, or maybe don't want a pool, so you can add that one in. You can add these features in, like the interior drop down stuff, that could be helpful. I got the full bath. One that I probably use a lot is sometimes the number of car garage. So sometimes I have people tell me they only want a 2-car garage. The default field, you can do yes or no to a garage, but now I want to get into the details of like, it has to be at least 2 or more. And so then I click everything above 2. New and resale I use a lot. Most all of my buyers, for the most part, I only want to look at resales. I don't want to deal with new construction sometimes, or I don't want them to get their hopes up when they see a base price of $595 that they actually can negotiate that down to $575, which is the top of their budget or whatever it is. And so sometimes I'll specifically only do resale. Restrictions, you can do an age restricted community, and so you might select a couple of these, age qualified or age restricted. Those are some good ones. Owned by, I use this one a bunch because I'll use not, and I'll use not REO. Sometimes there because we don't want to deal with foreclosures, so just get them off the list. That's something else you could do. What else am I using a lot? Fireplace, so a bunch of different things on here, but here's one of the tricks I'll show you. And you can use this in a lot of different fields. So let's say, what would be something you might search for? Okay, this is good. What's something you might search for in remarks? Like if you're trying to find a specific unique property.
An in-law suite.
In-law suite. All right, so here. That's a great one. In-law suite. If you just type in-law suite into the remarks, so far zero matches. The trick is you have to do this little asterisk, and I think you might have to do it at the end of it too, maybe. Let's see if that does anything. Still 0 results. So let's get rid of suite. Again, kind of going back to what we first said. Simple is better. They don't like the way I wrote in-law, so maybe it's a hyphen.
How about a
Hyphen thing. I'm looking at my matches because I'm waiting for that thing to hit.
Do you have anything else checked?
Oh yeah, that's a great call. Yeah, I did. I had a bunch of stuff checked. Alright, that's gonna be a better litmus test. Thank you, Jeff. Alright, let's try it the first way. In-law suite. 0 matches. Let's see, let's test my theory. I think you just do the asterisk in the front. Then you have to do it in the back too. Oh, but. Alright, in-law. So yeah, you have to do it in the back too, maybe. Yeah, there you go. So asterisk at the beginning, asterisk at the end. So now we got 5 matches. And so the asterisk is some sort of, I don't know, computer IT thing of
Quotations.
equal to the or kind of thing. Yeah, kind of like quotations, but it's like somewhere around here. So if you do the ins hyphen law, now we got 572 matches. So that's a pretty quick way of looking. Now, who knows how the listing agent wrote into the remarks in-law? It could be, we're selling it for the in-laws, or whatever it is, or it could be potential in-law suite, or it could say has an in-law suite.
Try it in-law like that, and then add suite to it. See what that if you get any.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be a little more specific?
Sure. But this is all stuff that you're going to be playing around with and doing. So I use it like that. Sometimes I'm looking up like a specific agent's listing. So you try Chenault, and it'll give you all Chenault's. Maybe I don't know how to spell their first name, or or maybe it's opposite, I don't know, I spell their last name, so I'm just looking for all of Luke's, whatever, listings, so you gotta do something like that. So the asterisk at the beginning, asterisk at the end is a little trick there. I'll probably use this, you might use it for like like a horse property, or you might have to get fancy equestrian, might look that word up. I thought I had it right the first one.
The E
Equestrian.
where that first I is.
E where the first I is. Oh, quest. There we go. We're on a quest. So that's a little trick there. Same thing, I might use that in like the agent only comments. You might put tenant, like if you're looking for maybe an investment property. It probably might say in the agent remarks, tenant occupied or tenants in place or something like that. So anyways, asterisk is one of the other little tips that you can use. Did all that. Did that. Alright, something else that should be maybe pretty basic would be, sometimes you're not searching using parameters, but you actually have to use the map. And so within the map, you guys know, or maybe you don't know, you might look at a specific area. So.
Can I
Yeah,
ask
go
a
ahead.
quick question?
Yeah.
Is there a way to draw more than just one shape or circle?
Ooh, good question. Yeah. So
There
that
is.
was
I'm
probably
like,
one of my
instead of
points.
doing 5 different searches, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so that would be kind of my point. Let's say I'm gonna do just not drawing the scale stuff. I like this pen tool.
Yeah,
I
I do,
just
yeah.
specifically
Love it.
drag it. So you can do that. So that's an area. And then they also would do, well, yeah, there. That's where they want it. I was trying to move my screen.
And you just punch the thing again and write another circle? Or
Yeah.
do another
It'll
shape?
also
I
go
feel like that's
here.
the time that it deleted the first one I did.
Yeah, I thought it did.
No. Is it when you hover over, it says delete shape, exclude shape, or include intersection. So part of that would be, let's say they want Lakeside, but they hate this side of 33. So then you would exclude that. So now it still has your circle over here, but definitely not anything on this side. They might say, I want, a 20-mile radius. So see
Right.
my little number here?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 5 miles. They want, 5-mile radius. So in that regard, no, everything is still highlighted. So you have that.
So you can do the radius and then you can exclude particular areas.
Yeah, or here, let's get real crazy. Let's say
Okay.
somebody wants a 10-minute commute to the city, but then somebody else wants, they're okay with a 20-minute commute from Order Pax Farms.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's called 10 miles. So then you can, include intersection only. See what happens. So now it's only looking in that little
Window,
Yeah.
right.
Cool.
So that's how you can kind of use map stuff. The problem with maps though is again, you're relying on the intelligence of the listing agent placing the address and that little place marker in the right geocache, geolocation thing. Every once in a while, by default, if like Hanover can't find an address, it sticks them all over by the courthouse. So sometimes if you look around the courthouse, there's a bajillion listings. It's like, actually, there's
really?
0 listings around the courthouse. It's just by default, it just kind of throws them in this like one specific
Oh, I have
geolocation.
no idea.
So I'm sometimes hesitant on map searches. Again, I guess I have trust issues. Trust people kind of know what they're doing.
Tommy, real quick on that again, show me again. Let's say someone says, hey, I want to be within, I don't know, 10 miles of the city, right? But I don't wanna be in this area. Show me again how you excluded the area.
Yeah, let's see.
Can you clear it all and start over?
Can you start the whole thing over?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Tom.
Okay.
This is
Business.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you do get a lot of that, right?
Let's slow
let's
down.
see. Ooh, my computer's touch screen. That's gonna make it easier. Alright, so you would do basically
The radius
your,
of the city.
your radius. You want to be 8 miles from VCU
Yeah,
on call.
and they don't want Manchester or Apple Street or something like that.
And they really hate south of the river, as they should.
That's good.
You're like, I don't want south of the river. Let me just draw your shape. I could have
Alright, so
drawn a
then,
square, I could have done anything, and then you hover over this red dot,
uh-huh.
and then exclude the shape.
Shoot.
The red dot.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't.
I need that.
That'll help me.
I-
Thank you.
And then you can hover over this again.
So much better.
You can delete it, and you know if you messed up, you could delete it, and you could go back to including it, stuff like that.
Interesting, alright.
Awesome.
Cool.
Tommy, you're the best.
Yeah, well done.
Well, hopefully you get a note. That's all I promise.
Uh,
All right, another one.
I think another tip on the map, you
Yeah.
get back to it, if you click on that,
Show us.
3 boxes,
What 3 boxes? Where?
that pops up like that. So, where the pen is,
The map.
right to that, at the top, yeah. Top of the search bar, circle, square, polygon.
Right.
To the right, the 3 box, keep on going. There, layers.
Layers?
If you click on layers, if you click on that, you can also click the county. So you get people, that outlines all the counties for you, so you get just really good representation.
Whoa.
People want to say, hey, I want to, hey, gee, I don't know anything about Chesterfield. Well, Chesterfield, I want to be in Chesterfield. Chesterfield is massive. So what part of Chesterfield? That way you can see where it is.
God.
Also just, location wise, but yeah, I use the maps,
Just to show people counties. Okay, yeah.
yeah, that way they can say, or people are on, they don't want to pay city taxes. Obviously, there's still pockets they may be okay with,
Right.
but hey, this is gonna be higher in the city or not, that way they can just kinda get an idea, but a lot of people have no idea where the lines are for a lot of this stuff too.
And so what you're saying is you can include a search that will show them the lines, is that?
Well, I mean, that way, just like when I'm bringing buyers into the office.
More like
sit
you're
down,
meeting with somebody and like,
Yeah,
hey, we really want Chesterfield. It's like, okay,
do you want?
this is the
Right.
largest geographical
right.
county in Virginia.
Yeah.
Which part of Chesterfield?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a cool.
Boy, I could use that for me. Like where? Oh,
Kevin is the second best.
Kevin, yeah.
Hey. Honorable
Well
mention.
Well done.
Alright,
Love it.
anybody else got map tips? That's good.
That's a real good one.
That is good.
What does the last icon up there do?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Why don't we just do an hour on map search?
Icons.
Yeah, icons.
Which one?
This is gonna be iconic.
That one.
Just recenter for some purpose.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's reset.
Recenter, I don't know.
Oh, recenter.
Clear all shapes. Hey, that's what I think of. Alright, another thing, managing displays and custom displays.
Huh?
This is something I'll use maybe. I just like to see more of like my single line items. Let me see if you can put an actual search on something. So, you have your displays here. There's a bunch of default ones, but you can also make custom ones. I don't know why this is here, but that's my most preferred. So I can always just click there and then it goes back to more my single line. There's always the default single line, but you can mess with these displays, which also then creates something you can export as well, or you can make your own custom export. But to change your display, you would just hit manage display and then you can save it, or you can go here. And so, you might move your fields around or add certain fields. And so sometimes what you have to do to get to it, it's a little bit crazy, but you have to go over here to settings and then custom displays. And then you either create a new one or you edit, and then you kind of have your selected columns. I'll use this for a couple purposes, mostly on the export. So like, if I want to now go export a bunch of data from here, if you select it all, and then you're exporting, now you can choose how you want to export. And so, like, I used to have to send the most recent sales to Acme Neighbors magazine, but all they wanted was basically the street name and the price and maybe the list price, the sold price, and the date. So I want to be able to very quickly and easily, couple clicks, here's an Excel sheet, send it over to the magazine so they can get their stuff printed and not be bothered. I run a spreadsheet for all my sellers, looking at assessed values and price per square foot, but I have a very specific spreadsheet I make for all my sellers, and I don't want a bajillion pieces of columns of data. I just want, here's the 7 things I look at. So I created a custom display or custom export just for that. And so then when I go to, CMAs for Tommy, it spits me out a spreadsheet of just all of the comps or all that search thing I just did for just what I'm interested in. So that's that. And again, to go there, you have to go to your settings. Also at your settings, while I'm here, anybody mess with their settings ever?
Never.
Like, did you know that our settings? Yeah, it used to be over here. So it used to be over on my matrix, you'd find settings. Now it's hidden over here under your name. These are your settings. So let's go through them. One would be your information. So you might want to go in here today and look at, does it have the right phone number for you, the website for you? That would be good, but mostly the email signature. So looking at your email signature, this is on any listing you send to your buyers. What is the email signature from MLS? And so you might update this or look to see what's included in here. So that's where your email signature would be. I think this is mostly for printing, but somebody could correct me. Sometimes when you print listings off, you can choose to have your header or footer. I print agent copies off and I bring those to showings with me, and I keep those for myself. Every once in a while a buyer will ask me for them, and then I'll hand them to you or hand them to them. Some of you guys may print your customer MLS printouts and hand them to them at every single showing. If you do that, you might want the header and footer because it's just more, branding and whatnot. But this is where you would change what that looks like, and there's a bajillion themes that you can choose from.
Oh,
so it's
wow.
almost like web design. So you can kind of create what your header or footer looks like on all those printouts that you're going to be handing to clients. And then, you can change stuff around. So that's in your information settings. One home, let's see, that might just be how, just again, kind of contact details. So that's one of the things in your settings. The main thing I probably use in my settings is our team settings. And so team settings for me, this is where I have my closing coordinator added on my team settings that he can impersonate on my behalf. And if I have him set up on MLS as impersonating on my behalf, he can then mark my listings pending, he can mark them closed for me, and then he also gets full access to my transaction desk. So if I'm missing an initial on anything, or if I had a buyer brokerage agreement signed 3 houses ago and he needs to pull that to this current transaction, if I have him set up as impersonate me on MLS, he has all my transaction desk information. And then I have all the agents who are on my team add me and Steven to their files as impersonate, so that I can get access to all of their MLS and transaction desks as well, and just kind of help them with paperwork, contracts, files, sending off signings, and all that stuff. So to do that, you would hit add, and then I think you just need their agent ID number. So you'd have to get their agent ID number. Anybody know how to find an agent ID number?
So,
Mm-hmm.
Search, yeah. So you search and an agent. and then that's how you would find Schimmel's. Oh, there's only one. So he's 76825. So that's how you find his IDs. Anybody mess around with settings or care about settings? The custom exports thing is good if you don't want to just sit through a bunch of data. Team settings is really good. I recommend that for all the teams. I think there is something within transaction desk that you can add people to have transaction desk authority, but on here it does it both places. So that's super easy to do. Anybody do that? You have your team set up like that? How's your team? Does Justin have access to MLS?
Yes, he does, okay.
Alright, email signature, good. Carts. You guys mess around with carts any?
I don't even know.
Oh my gosh. You guys need to be using carts.
What is it?
Nobody, raise a hand. Anybody use showing carts? Carts? Oh my gosh. Alright, cool.
Okay.
So, my carts are right here. And so this is, again, let's see, I'll go to a client maybe. Alright, so, let's say this is somebody who I have set up on auto search, and he's like, hey, on Saturday, I want to go see Maybrook, Creek Mill, and we already saw Summerwood. And we want to see all three of these houses. So you could just keep going back into their search and try to like figure out which of those three houses, or you can add them to a cart. So carts is right here. And then I set up different carts for especially my active buyers that were like, looking at houses a bunch, and I'll add them to a cart. So I already have a cart set up for them. And so, I would just add them there. And now, if I go to view his cart, now it's only the houses he's basically already said, these are the only houses of interest, I don't care about that other stuff. And then sometimes, because sometimes they're firing me one house. Actually, this guy just sent me maybe that Creek Mill house. And so, I might go back to where we first started. He told me, hey, I like the house on Creek Mill. And I just find that house, and then I go ahead and add it to his cart. And then he's texting me some other stuff. It's like, all right, we're gonna look at all these on Saturday. Now I view the cart, and I select all these houses, and then I go to showing time, and now I create a showing time cart. So now we can add a showing cart. You can pick your day. Let's see, I might have him add it. You don't necessarily have to add them here, but you might, have a meal. I don't know, what do you call this? And now you have all 5 of your showings, which is like, oh man, this is gonna be quite a day, right? But then you can see the whole schedule. Wow, no show. Apparently nobody's looking at any of these houses on this day, so that's good. But the other little trick here, I guess we're doing all the tricks, hit Smart Route, and now it's optimizing your driving.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
Smart Route. So it has me starting there, and what you actually can do is say, well, I don't like that. I'm gonna be in Windham already. So then you can flip the order roll. All that 1, all that 2, all that 4, all that 5, and hit update. So now I just reverse the order. Anybody know an easier way to do that? You guys have to just reverse. You can add a listing stop, get yourself a Slurpee. You could add a listing stop of maybe the place you're starting from, but then it'll smart route it for you, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna look at this house at this time. And then you can just kind of stagger your showing times, and then you request all 5 at once. Anybody doing it that way? So you guys are scheduling individual showings. Oh my gosh. Peaches. So, if anything, well, I would say too, we're back to a day where we can actually schedule 3 or 4 houses in one show. That was more like pre-COVID times where there was that many houses to look at, and B, that we had the convenience of actually being able to schedule out 3 or 4. But that's how you should be scheduling multiple showings for sure. That showing cart is separate from the cart that I was just talking about. This is essentially the matrix cart. But then what's nice is you can kind of keep an eye on, like these guys, we've been looking at a bunch every single weekend. And so now I can kind of see what's going under contract and maybe what's still out there. Like we put an offer on this 1919. It's been out there for a bit, and so we put a different offer on something else. But now I'm like, hey, that Hounslow house, that's still for sale.
I mean, would you say like the cart in essence is an area where you can file, houses of interest for a client?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they stay there, do you remove them if, let's say that they change their criteria?
Yeah.
Would you take it off the cart, or?
Yeah, like, or if I get under contract, now I don't need them up on my home screen as a cart, so I can remove the whole cart. Or we might remove, okay, they eliminated those houses, so those are no longer of interest, so get those out of the cart. But some of you guys are probably using the portal and you're just looking at the favorites, but this is a great example here. These are houses that they have specifically told me we're interested in, but look, they only marked 2 of them as favorite. So if you're relying on them to mark it as favorite and that's kind of your placeholder, I would miss the other 6 houses. These houses, these guys are real on top of it. They're even writing notes. So, you know, there's even houses they didn't put notes on. And so this is my own way of kind of just keeping a track of the houses that they're liking. And usually it's because they're kind of maybe firing a house to me at a time. And so I'm not digging all back into their past search. I'm just looking for that specific house that they just texted me, and I can kind of quickly find it.
So Tommy, do you find that with the showing time cart, like if you're gonna show 89 houses on a Saturday, do you wait to schedule sort of Thursday, Friday, so you're not having to readjust everything?
Yeah, I mean, that's just best practice, kind of like always. But the nice thing about it, if you have a showing cart, is if you're adding, it adds right back onto it. Like if I request all these and exit out of it, and they say, oh, hey, by the way, we want to see this other one too, and then I go to that listing, I hit showing time, it'll say start a new showing cart or add to an existing cart. I'll do add to an existing cart, and it'll pop right up here on this list, and now I'll have 6 on this list instead of 5 on the list.
Well, the mistake I made.
But it will mess me up.
When I used it was hitting the request thing.
Yeah.
And you send it out, and then all these things get changed on Thursday or Friday, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
You can't like reset it.
No, yeah. I
You know what I'm
mean,
talking about?
hopefully you don't have buyers doing too much of that, but yeah, because you're going for reschedule. But yeah, there's no, I don't think there's any easy way around that one.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Is if I missed something.
Yeah. So now do that. Every once in a while, there's a knucklehead that has not showing time as like the showing thing, and it's you have to like hit update status and totally messes you up. But for the most part, this kind of works all the time. And that smart route thing is huge. I used to have a different app on my phone, and I'd plug them all in, and it was like random Valley or I don't know, something old school. And so that's very convenient. The other thing that I really love is right here. It tells you your travel time between the houses. So, you know, if you're trying to fit into a certain, if the agent's only allowing you a 30-minute showing, now you know from this house to this house, it's going to take you at least 9 minutes to get there. This one will take 8 minutes, this one will take 5 minutes, and so you have your travel time you gotta think through as you're doing scheduling and stuff. So that's helpful, especially if you're covering large distances. Cool. Alright, another little doodad in MLS. Anybody ever use this over here, links?
Yes.
What do you use it for?
Get, transaction desk.
Okay. Anybody use this?
What is this?
County resources. So I use links every time I put a new listing in, and you guys probably have back ways around to it, but this is to verify schools. And so I go to county resources and list all the county schools, and if I want to know what school system you know my listing is in, and it's in Hanover, or Maybe I'm just verifying a buyer is buying a house and they specifically said they have to be in, Washington Henry district or whatever it is. This is how I verify. So this just takes me to the county websites. So let me see. So it has basically all of our school systems, and then every county is a little bit different. Most of it is called school locator. Hanover's is not. So I type in school locator, and typically it takes you to basically a school verification thing. Hanover's is not, but if you go to our schools, it'll then be attendance zone. And most all these counties will have a map that pulls up, and then you type in the address. So this is Hanover County's basically school system thing. So pulls up an address, and then it tells you what school that's zoned for. So I think if you're not doing this already, you should be doing this on every single listing you have. You should be the fact checker on what school system your listings are. And I get to that, again, I just get that from links, and then county resources. And then to Dean's point, the links is also nice because it gets the transaction desk and showing time and stuff like that. I have that on my front page, so oftentimes I'll do that. My little team setting thing that I was talking about, I can't just go to transaction desk and log into one of my team members' accounts. I have to do that through MLS first, and so for me, I have to switch into, let's see if I just left. I have to switch the dev's name first, and then from here I can go to transaction desk, and I can pull up all the transaction desk. Yeah. That's just a little workaround for some reason. Alright, so that's links. Anybody know about flood maps? Anybody care about flood maps? Anybody know what a flood zone is? Nate, what do you care about floods?
I do.
Yes.
Very much so.
Anybody know that you can quickly and easily check to see if it's in a flood zone right from MLS?
You get a
Some
flood
of you are
map.
shaking your heads. See this little button here that
Yeah.
says flood map?
Flood map.
Isn't that amazing? Look, flood map. And then
Do that, yeah.
you can see if you're in a flood zone or not. And there's a code down here in the bottom. So there's some weird flood zones in the West End, Tuckahoe Creek area, and your house, a listing buyer or whatever might be right up against a flood map. So might be something to look at. But that's right here, right on your search, flood map. Anybody ever look at somebody's mortgage history or the history of the sale of their house? It's kind of fun. So you can see that right here, our history. So you can see the history of the sale of the house as well as mortgage history. Some of this stuff goes over my head because it's like, if you do a HELOC, it shows up, so a HELOC will show up and it looks as if that's like a mortgage, but it's not really a mortgage, so it's like a different dollar amount. So if you're trying to do math, it doesn't quite equate, but you can at least see a little bit of the mortgage history. You can see some of the sale history, and you can see some of the title history. Title history is kind of interesting, where if there was somebody who passed away, got retitled, or if there was a divorce and got retitled, it would show as a sale history or something. But if you're looking at the name, it's like, well, actually that was a sale, that was just a transfer. So that's right here at the top of your MLS search. So listing, tax, photos, history, parcel map, flood map, neighborhood map, demographics. Anybody look at any of these other tabs? I didn't know we had demographics. That seems scary. I feel like, we shouldn't have this knowledge. But I thought this was interesting. It shows average income, employment rates, income brackets. I guess it's more socioeconomics than it is demographics. But. Alright, so that's some stuff there. Alright.
What else is on that drop-down bar?
Yeah, look at
Is it
the,
on
hit the drop down. That's just income.
Oh, there we go.
Population.
Education, highest level of education achieved. Where's the sex offender one? Is that different registry? So yeah, there's some stuff here. Alright, That's about all I have in like numbers. I have a few other little tips outside of this, but anybody else have anything that they really use day in, day out on Matrix? Anybody ever look at this screen?
Yes.
Or you just skip right over it, go straight to Matrix?
No, I think that's good.
So a couple of things I want to highlight on this one is there's this fun rules and regulations one. So every once in a while I'll look this up and like look up specific rules, kind of like fact check. I think we just had a good one. We had a good one last week that I was just trying to look up to see. Basically, the appraisal for one of our teammates' listings had the square footage less than what was on the tax record and less than what was on the MLS listing, and the buyer sent an interesting letter to the seller of, by our calculations, that means we want to buy the house for $50,000 less. I was like, that's not right. You can't do that. Like, and plus the appraisal appraised obviously at value or above, given the smaller square footage. I was just trying to look up to see if there was any rules about square footage discrepancies and different things like that. Anybody know what the rule is for square footage, just in general? It changed. I've been in 12 years, so it changed over my 12 years, but the biggest change about square footage is if you're advertising a square footage other than what's on a tax record, what do you have to do? Prove. How do you prove it? And then what do you do with your proof? Upload it. You have to upload it as a supplement. So it used to be, we just say, well, the owner said. Owner said it's way bigger. Now it's like you have to have proof that it's bigger and then upload it as a supplement. So anyways, that's kind of fun, rules and regulations. Every once in a while I look that stuff up. Of these ones, I like market stats. Anybody ever used market stats? That's a cool one. Very easy because it like instantly spits out like line graphs that my mind can comprehend. And so very quickly, like I have a buyer who is asking about days on market in Hanover. He's got a house out in Montpelier area, and he's worried about days on market. So I'm gonna go specifically Hanover County. And over here are all your options. So I'm gonna go days on market. So current days on market is 11 days in Hanover County. And this is a 3-year graph. You know, you could go 10 years. Ooh, that's fun.
Wow.
Doing pretty good. I used to tell people I would look this up by zip code, and average days on market is like in the 40s. Like the hottest market was like the Fan or Museum. It was super hot, like smoking hot. They would sell as quick as 22 days. Yeah, super hot.
No way.
Yeah. Poor old Hanover would take 40 days to sell. So anyways, you can mess around with a bunch of charts, graphs, very easy, very quick, very chewable. So I like that one. Anybody use ListTrack ever? ListTrack kind of checks your listings and kind of tells you how much is being viewed on other websites. So you can see how many Zillow views you have and kind of where those views are coming from. I never use it, I just wanted to talk about it. Yeah.
Is there a option in there so I was doing a lead follow-up call with someone at Realtor.com, and he gave me all kinds of stats of like where people are moving from to the Richmond area. Is there a spot in here where we can find that kind of stat?
They're moving from, that must have to be looking at like closed records and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, on this one, it'll tell me where people are searching from. I think it shows me specifically. Like my top property views. Richmond, Glen Allen, the so nobody, New York.
That's the source of the view, where the viewer is.
Yeah, the online viewer in the past 30 days. I don't know if I'm assuming that's all internet. So 3,000 some on Zillow somehow they found out. So that's using all these websites. But you can also see what websites are the most popular. So, anyways, that's list track. Only thing else I was gonna cover, and I think we're overtime, and so we'll just skip it, cause I've talked about it in class in the past, is a transaction desk. And then, just setting up templates and clauses. I think that's, super helpful. Alright, we get some nuggets?
That's
Yeah.
everything.
Did I miss anything? Was there a question you already had in your mind that you were hoping I could solve? Or that we could figure out for you?
You may have already covered this, but if you have a client that wants to see 5 homes, is there a way that you can enter that in some way and have it routed automatically? So, hey, this is the way to do it. This is the most efficient way to cover those 5. I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta do it from a desktop.
Okay.
You can't do it
Okay.
from your phone, so that's
Okay.
step one. Gotta have a desktop. And then however you wanna go about getting those houses, I like to use a cart. But even if you didn't have a cart, if you just had, if you just
Recent
had, like,
searches,
if you just had like a long list,
and could I pick like 3 or 4 of
then
them?
you would checkbox all these things. So you just checkbox your 5. And then
Right.
hit showing time. And then under showing time, there's a smart route button.
That will route it and then ask for all of the,
Well, it'll route it for you first.
and then you
and
gotta
then-
pick times.
And then you have to pick your times and then you hit submit request. So I have no idea what I picked, but we have this little smart route button. So yeah, so send the order for you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you pick your times accordingly and then hit send request.
And it'll tell you the distance between.
Right, but if you pick the first time, will it calculate the times to ask past that?
No, you still
Okay.
gotta do some math yourself, like in your
Okay.
own head, but it does show you the travel distance between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess a little bit of a pro tip, like on this one,
Mm-hmm.
actually this one works out pretty well. Like if I have a bunch of going shows, I'm gonna put those at the back of my showing, not the front of my showing. So I'm gonna try
Right,
to
you want the
schedule hardest
specific,
ones first.
hardest ones first.
Yeah, because 1, I'll be the most accurate on that time,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2, those are the most difficult to schedule. And then I'll try to end with all the vacant houses if possible.
Okay.
Or, I might go through specifically and look at the remarks to see which one's gonna be the most difficult to schedule. And regardless of what the smart route is, like I'll try to manipulate it in such a way, let's start with the hard.
And you can edit this and put it in a different order if you want to
Yeah.
by changing the ordinal or the
You
number
just
in the
change
first
these
column.
numbers and then hit update.
Okay.
Cool, you good? That's
Cool.
cool. Maybe.
I learned so much today.
You figure out how to use the map, that's good.
I did not
Asterisks?
know.
Maybe asterisk is good. Alright, cool, that's all I got.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.